when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That is amore. Saint Valentine's is much more than a marketing gimmick invented by some company to sell heart-shaped chocolate drops. It's also technically a Catholic holiday. But hey, technically every day is a Catholic holiday. Am I right, fellow wasps? Catholic bees are lazy. Insect racism aside, every great story has at least a little bit of romance. Today I figured it would be appropriate to look at some books that put romance in the forefront, while I am in fact a big proponent of so-called chick lit. I feel like that's a bit narrow. So in this case, I'll try to avoid the more trashy stuff. We want good old-fashioned romantic hair. So here are the top 10 romance books. Number 10 is The Princess Bride by William Goldman. Let me explain to you. Nah, there's too much. Let me sum it up. Have you ever had a book read to you? This is a sort of thing that I figured was an universal experience. Turns out I was lucky to have had my parents read to me when I was younger. For those with similar experiences, this book evokes something familiar. For those not so fortunate, do I have a treat for you? It's got action, adventure, and most importantly for us here, love is a central theme. After all, true love is the greatest thing in the world, except for cough drops. This is supposed to be just a good parts version of a long-winded political satire, so occasionally you get some author's notes. These are my favorite part of the book. The meta-narrative here is that Will Goldman did this so his kids could enjoy it. Have you watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged by Tim Forstar? It's like that. Well, it feels like that, and I mean this as the highest praise, by the way. Number 9 is Another Chance to Dream by Lane Carland. Technically both a spin-off and a prequel. It's a historical romance where we follow Riz, a knight, and Gwendolyn, a headstrong noble woman. It's a love at first sight, destined kind of deal. If you were to read all 18 D. Piaget books, you'd follow the descendants of these two through paranormal adventures and time travel shenanigans. The thing is, this is also the 7th entry to the MacLeod saga, a book about a woman in the late 90s who falls for a 14th century Scottish nobleman through, again, time travel shenanigans. It's an expensive and complicated universe is what I'm saying. Don't be discouraged though, I'll give you a hand, alright? In chronological order, the entire De Piaget series goes: Another Chance to Dream, If I Had You, then Dreams of Stardust, after that When I Fall in Love. Then you read the Christmas Cat Anthology. After that is One Enchanted Evening. Then you read This Is All I Ask. From here, we go into The More I See You. Then we read the book called From This Moment On. I know it's confusing as hell. After that, we read the Tapestry Anthology. Then we read Stardust of Yesterday. Stardust is like a theme here, in case you haven't noticed. Also Dreams. Then is Till There Was You. Then One Magic Moment. Then All For You. Then Dreams of Lilacs. Then Stars in Your Eyes. Then A Lovely Day Tomorrow. And finally, Somewhere Along the Way. Now this isn't the MCU. You could just read one randomly and still get it. I actually introduced myself to the series by reading the Christmas Cat Anthology. I do recommend reading chronologically though, you get more out of it. Number 8 is Secrets of the Chocolate House by Paula Braxton, the second book in the Found Things series and the one that I'm currently reading right now as I make this list. It's another time travel story. This time the protagonist, Jante, runs an antique shop with her mother, and in this one, she already had her fun time travel romance. So when she's trying to settle into her quiet normal life again, they pull her back in. I might have a bit of a soft spot for historical romance, as you can tell. This is particularly well written and well researched, while still having that fun page-turner pop-lit quality. Or maybe I'm biased, because I read the first one and wanted to see what happens to Samuel. No spoilers, by the way, I am probably still reading this by the time the list comes out, and so far so good. Good stuff. Number 7 is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. We head into the realms of fantasy for this one. It's a retelling of the Rumpelstiltskin story with a bit of a dark twist to it. But then it's also Bluebeard with, again, a bit of a dark twist to it. Or you know what, stories like this are pretty dark in the first place, so maybe it's just a fresh coat of paint, if you will. Anyways, it's dark fantasy and also Dark Judin. Fair warning here, abuse, dead kids, and other similar themes abound. It's a fairy tale after all. We start with Miriam, a monolander who finds herself dealing with fairy creatures as she boasts she's good at spinning silver into gold. Get it? It's in the title. Well, anyways, you know, metaphorically. And then a nice monster jumps her because of it. For real, for real. I have been looking forward to talking about this one. The book actually blew my mind a little bit the first time I read it, and love is a central theme, so it fits here. Number 6 is A Ministry of Time by Collie Ann Bradley. Time for some controversy. Apparently this book shares its title with Spanish miniseries El Ministerio del Tiempo. Now the TV series is about these 4 secret government agents who go around trying to make sure people don't know about these magical time-traveling doors, or for that matter, use the magical time-traveling doors to change history. This novel, though, is about a lady working for a secret government agency that tries to help people displaced in time adapt to living in the present. It's completely different things, but I mean, they do have stuff in common, right? Like, I'm not the only one who sees it. Anyways, I don't think it's plagiarism, really. Like, come on, guys. I feel like both just kind of exist in parallel spaces to each other. I don't think the author of the novel had ever actually heard of, the Spanish miniseries. It is popular by all means, it's just unlikely. Especially because the book feels deep and personal, dealing with themes of identity and trauma in a frankly fun, entertaining way. The book ends up being more of a sci-fi rom-com. I do understand if people don't dig the exploration of colonialism and its repercussions in the modern world in their slow-burned romance, but I do. Number 5 is Catherine by Annie R. Seton. It's old. That doesn't make it a classic. Justin Long, Live Free or Die Hard. So, why am I quoting what the guy from Jeepers Creepers said in the worst Die Hard movie? Listen, the book has its issues, and I get it if you get put off by this historical romance by the 10th time someone says something to the tune of "Nay, my lady, thine inner ties be the fairest." I personally think that's part of the appeal. It's trashy erotica from the 50s that just for some reason is extremely well researched. It's good enough for Gran, it's good enough for me. I am serious, by the way, this thing is meticulous. It's a historical drama dressed like medieval soap opera. It will place you in 1369 and tell you of the political turmoil, religious corruption, astrological events, every novel that dies in war, of illness, or of poisoning, and where their lines of succession go. All of this overlooking the courtship of Catherine Swynford and John de Gaunt. Number 4 is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This one goes to the goth kids in the back. It's a spooky manners, dark secrets, and deep characters for you to sink your teeth into. Particularly, I feel like there is a specific demographic of ladies who will really enjoy the personification of death presented in this book. Zigna, the protagonist, is a sort that you can easily project into. She's feisty and smart, just like you. For those out of the loop, Belladonna is part of the dreaded book with a love triangle that young women like tradition. I think it's well made. It's got a fun murder mystery to go along with the triangle. It's got not one, but 2 tall, dark and handsome gentlemen, one of them being the aforementioned Death. It's got plenty of spicy elements though. If you have a goth angel in your life, this might do for a good Valentine's. Number 3 is Airs Above Ground by Mary Stewart. You already know that when the goddamn title of a Mary Stuart novel is an obscure dressage reference. She's about to lay down some bars. Most of this romantic adventure takes place in Austria in the 1960s. Vanessa, our heroine this time around, is here looking for her husband, whom she saw on the news, getting showmy with some Austrian hussy. If you haven't read a Mary Stuart romance before, the way it usually works is you let her cook, the will day one day goes on for a while, then there's some cute banter in the middle, profit. Also there's usually a nice lad for the younger ladies. This time it's 17-year-old Timothy. He is quite charming. Anyways, the main focus of the story really is the relationship between Vanessa and her husband Louis. Love ain't easy, but it is an adventure. Number 2 is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I chose to hold off my judgment on this one for as long as I could. It came out in 2022. I read it finally late last year. It's a book about two friends. It's a coming of age story. It's exactly what I was looking for this list. The heartbreak, the glory, the Hideo Kojima. How can you not be romantic about baseball? There is no baseball here, just to be clear, it's a metaphor. Sam and Zadie met as young kids when Zadie is visiting her sister at the hospital. They bond over video games and reconnect as adults when they start working on making a game themselves. It's a book about human connection, basically. Number 1 is Miss Timmins' School for Girls by Nayana Kurimboy. Is it me, or does this whole romance vibe go really well with a good murder mystery? Let's go back to 1974. Our protagonist is a new teacher working in the Epinomus, Miss Timmins' School for Girls. In case you weren't aware, back in the day, hell, there's a couple of them left nowadays. The British modus operandi used to be go to place, conquer place, get spice. And no, I don't understand what they needed so much spice in the first place either. They certainly weren't using it to cook. Regardless, they would then often open missionary schools in the place to teach the people living there how to become more British. They did it in Canada, they did it in India, they even did it in Hong Kong. Anyways, our girl Jaru works here. There's lesbians, rock and roll, teenagers getting high on cough syrup, a bunch of Shakespeare references. You'll love it, I promise. I'll tell you right now, if you don't like it, I will give you $3,000. Just comment your home address in the comments and leave your front door open at night. Because, you see, I'm kind of shy. And with that, we are done for the day. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos. What is your favorite romance book? Tell me in the comments, and have a wonderful rest of your day.